Good evening, folks.
Okay, the reading from Emmett Fox is increasing your dividends. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he has. And that's from Matthew chapter 25, verse 29.
And the Lamsa translation is, For to him who has it shall be given, and it shall increase to him. But he who has not, even that which he has shall be taken away from him. So very close.
This great text has been a stumbling block to many. It looks like injustice. It sounds like cruelty. Yet Jesus said it, and we know that he was always right. The explanation is logical when you have the key to life. Your experience is the expression, and in parentheses, he says pressing out. So your experience is the expression of your state of mind or consciousness at any time. When your consciousness is high, everything goes well. And when your consciousness is low or limited, everything goes wrong. When trouble comes, the usual thing is to meet it with fear, anger, disappointment, self-pity, or brutal willpower. This naturally lowers the consciousness a good deal more, and things get still worse. From him that hath not much harmony shall be taken away even that which he hath. Harmony and joy naturally raise your consciousness and your faith in God still higher, and so things improve further. Unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. This is a simple statement of natural law. Let us thank God that this wonderful law exists.
Thank you. So that was the starting point, if you will. Um, humankind is enduring a spiritual problem, or might be better to say, an increasing sense of spiritual disconnection. And reflecting on what Fox said, I also stumbled across a commentary by someone named John McNeely on Facebook, which I'm going to read, and it's short, but it fits right in here. Modern man has lost the deep spiritual connection with his soul and tries to fill it with empty pleasures and with material acquisitions, which leaves him unfulfilled, restless, irritable, and discontent. Thunder is no longer the voice of an angry God. No river contains a spirit. No snake, the embodiment of wisdom. No mountain cave, the home of a great demon. No voices now speak to humans from stones, plants, and animals, nor does the human speak to them thinking they can hear. His contact with nature has gone, and I'll say his contact with divine has gone, at least in his perception. And with it has gone the profound emotional energy that this symbolic connection supplied. And that last piece is a quote from Carl Jung. So between this statement and the Emmett Fox message for today, I decided we needed to look more deeply at joy and harmony as a spiritual pursuit, because once we attain that, I think we can more easily get back to easily engaging in conversations with all parts of the divine, including the stones, the plants, and the animals. In other words, we can more easily connect with what I call the shamanic side of life, or the unfettered divine side of life. And for those of you not familiar with the concept of the shamanic side of life, it's um, it's another world where the rules of physics we expect here don't work. They're completely different rules. It's not uncommon to have an animal come up and talk to you. It's not uncommon that you can fly. Uh, it's not uncommon that rocks talk to you or guide you along your way. Because, of course, as we say often, we are all God stuff. It's just that within this body and within this particular earth plane, at least recently, we've tended to allow ourselves to be walled off. Well, I guess I can say for all of what we know as recorded humankind, because um, even among the Aboriginal tribes, there was only one or two people who were the shaman who could go to the other side to effect healings, to find lost treasures, or to talk with the divine. Whereas what I'm here to say is every one of us can do it. It's within our capabilities, but I think we need to achieve easy joy and harmony in order to move the next, into this other connection with the divine reality or the shamanic reality. I came across a commentary, uh, a channeling of the Archangel Michael through Reverend Michelle Contant, who never heard of her. Uh, but this is what she wrote about joy and harmony. Today we speak of joy and harmony, joy in the true sense of all that is, the magnificent beings that you are in the now and always have been throughout creation. Joy in each and every moment of each day must be cultivated, must be nurtured. It is a seed to be planted, to be watered, just as a plant is watered. For you, it is the seed to be watered with your thoughts. Focus in the now moment. Focus on lifting your thoughts, on lifting your vibration to bring in the thought form of joy. We do this by being diligent, being thoughtful each and every moment. In the past, you may not have believed you were worthy of enjoying each and every moment of each day, but we tell you that this is possible. You have only to know it and believe it, for it is indeed true. Think of how that resonates with what Fox wrote that Phyllis uh, just read. Joy will bring you many new delights. Joy opens your heart. Joy allows you new access to the adamantine particles. And harmony is a byproduct of joy. Harmony is achieved as you lift yourselves up into the vibrations of joy. Harmony is achieved with perfect synchronicity as you move into the vibration, the experience of joy. Harmony brings peace into your lives and ultimately stability and an opening to the vibration of unconditional love. Again, opening up to this other world that we have lost our connection with as we entered these, what Sister Pepper used to call coats of flesh. So, coats of skin. Thank you. Mary corrected me. Sister Pepper would remind us that in the Bible it said God forced them to put on coats of skin, Adam and Eve, when they broke his commandments. So we can also say that joy and harmony defines an internal state of deep contentment and a sense of unity that transcends external circumstances or material possessions. In other words, a conscious alignment with higher power, with divine principles, and the natural order of the universe. And that, as we are able to connect with all that, we find a greater inner peace and a positive, resilient outlook on life. And if you think among those whom you know or have known, think of those who lack the positive, resilient outlook on life and how limited their lives are, how much they're missing. So the spiritual meaning of joy is distinct from fleeting happiness. And in a previous talk, we talked about the difference between happiness and joy, joy being more deeper, longer lasting, more spiritual. Happiness, on the other hand, is dependent on an external circumstance, something that has just happened gives us happiness, or something that is just happening gives us happiness. Uh, uh, when we have this spiritual joy, we have an inner confidence. Uh, we have a stronger sense of the work of the Spirit, our inner spirit, talking the Christian tradition here, um, the sense of an internal gift of love that grows as we connect more and more closely with the divine. Now, bear in mind, we are the divine, but we lack that awareness or that sense of reality too much. Uh, when we're carrying joy, there's a stronger sense of the presence of the divine in us and around us. There's increased likelihood of uh, healing and being able to convey healing to others. Uh, we find our overall being more in alignment with divine love and divine purpose. Uh, when we are, another thing about harmony is it facilitates our being peacemakers. The idea of choosing the kingdom, or choosing divine love over the small trifugalities that exist in this plane, when we're wearing our coats of skin and have forgotten what our ultimate connection is. So with joy and harmony, it's sort of like a holistic spiritual idea that can give us a deep, unwavering contentment, a deep, unwavering sense of total connection, communion with the divine. And now Richard Rohr says that we achieve a joy and harmony by achieving an internal shift away from being dependent or respondent or reactive to external circumstances. Uh, and he gives us some key principles for finding joy and harmony. Uh, One of them is develop a just right mind. He says, avoid extremes of too much me, which is ego and judgment, or not enough me, which is denial or obsession with externals. And he says a balanced mind is essential for true happiness. You also have to embrace imperfection, accept life, accept ourselves, accept others as not perfect. That's something I tell my couples when I'm officiating them, given the chance. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as perfection in either one of you. And uh, but think about those who rail against the imperfect, as opposed to, okay, this sucks, but it is. Now, what are we going to do about it? He recommends we cultivate inner peace, uh, a practical presence to deal with whatever is. He says, use your head, your heart, your body, and I would say your intuition, all at the same time, which is something that Lift teaches too, by the way. Um, by being practical here, it's easier for us to connect with the divinity and all the mysteries of the divine whose existence so exceeds anything we are able to comprehend. And rather than be judgmental, be contemplative and allow that contemplation to flow into whatever we're feeling that is not love. And if you're feeling angry, find the understanding, the insight, so that you can be sad instead for the situation or for the person or persons involved. And do, through acceptance of your imperfect self and divine presence, allow yourself to connect with your true self, what he calls your true humble self, because that humility, that sense of connection with the divine, because the divine is humble, contrary to what a lot of religions would have you. This is not a judge who's going to strike you down. This is someone who loves, or something that loves, however you want to define it. So to move to accomplishing joy and harmony in our lives is part a decision, part a surrender to what we've been holding on to that takes us away to a lower vibration, or that keeps us stuck in a lower vibration. Uh, there's a quote I came across when I was researching this that we'll do in another talk, but it was something along the lines of the more you hang on to your past, the less joy you're going to have in the present. Live in the moment and the joy of the present. And then I came across a discussion of the experience of pilgrimage. Someone I know slightly in the folk dance group just returned from a pilgrimage. I think it was the Santiago pilgrimage in Spain. And she was so radiant. She could barely talk about what a joyous experience it was for her. And this is someone whom I know to have a lot of anger. And so it was like a lot of that had been wiped out. And then as I was reading this discussion of the spiritual experience of pilgrimage, it occurred to me, we're all, every one of us on pilgrimage, every minute of every day. We need to remember that. Pilgrimage is a process going forward. Uh, uh, it's a decision, if you will. It's a carrying out of a movement toward a goal of greater spiritual humility, if you will, greater spiritual openness, connection, the letting go of old strictures or old pains and regrets that are holding us away from all the good there is. Um, he, this particular writer said, it's our choice to open our eyes and hearts to the good, what is beautiful, what stirs our soul, and let ourselves be delighted by it. So the sidebar would be every day in your pilgrimage through this life, are you allowing yourself to find people, places, events to be delighted about, experiences to be delighted about? Because the more we can surrender to being delighted outside our own limited experiences, remember the issue of tightly held beliefs, closely held beliefs, and how in the Bible that limits a person from experiencing the divine. The more we are able to surrender to life's unpredictability, allowing ourselves to be delighted where possible, responding from the spirit where we encounter lower frequency situations, the easier and more often we will see joy, choose it, welcome it, live in it. And this is something we do, we encounter multiple times every day. The pilgrimage, as I understand it, a lot of the pilgrimage in all the pilgrimages in Spain are rough-hewn or dirt or gravel walkways. They're not even walkways, they're paths. So if we're talking metaphorically, you have to, as you walk your Santiago, you have to watch to avoid tripping over the stones, over the branches that are lying in it. Uh, Carrying your poncho to throw on if it suddenly rains. Well, our pilgrimage in this life is just the same. Ideally, we have the set goal of where we are going, which is oneness, which is openness to all aspects of the divine, including finding ourselves communing, communicating, and experiencing the shamanic side of life, unfettered. In doing that, then we are closer to achieving eternal and unending joy and harmony. It's the way this writer put it. Um, each step becomes an act of love. It's our feet kissing the earth, which is this reality. Every footfall is quiet, a yes to God, a yes to letting go, a yes to walking alongside others in joy and sorrow, a yes that says to the divine, yes, I want more of you. Yes, I need you. Yes, I trust you. And ultimately, from that walk, yes, I am your love, and I feel your love, and I give your love. So, my encouragement to you today is let us put ourselves on the path to creating and maintaining more joy and harmony in our lives, knowing that as we accomplish this, think of it sort of like unceasing prayer, seeking that ongoing awareness, cycling that we are divine, we feel divine, we serve divine. And as we are able to maintain more joy, more harmony unceasingly in our lives, then we can allow ourselves an increased awareness and set of interactions with all parts of the divine, all parts of the raised frequency, the higher frequency, the higher love, the communication with all parts of the divine, including stones, plants, animals, and even humans. That's what I have to say today, folks. Thoughts, comments? Yes, Liz.
Was really encouraging. It said, I may not see the stars tonight, but I trust that they are there.
Oh, I like it. Thank you. Somebody else with a contribution. Yes, Charlotte.
I want to thank you. You're getting better and better each week. May God continue to bless you. In Jesus' name.
Thank you. Anybody else with a contribution? Okay, well, I guess what I said. Oh, yes, Teresa. Okay, and then Ellie. Thank you. Hold on, let me unmute you. Okay, go for it.
Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that that was really timely and just what you said blessed me because I do get stuck in um loving people that are at a lower vibration and and I get stuck in uh the sadness of it and or the feeling angry about it because I can't do anything about it and but just going back to the basics of your feet kissing the earth and being on a pilgrimage and everything you said, it just spoke to me, and I feel a gentle peace in me from those words, and I thank you.
Yay. Give thanks to the divine. The divine is the one who told me what to talk to, but I'm glad to be his mouthpiece. So I accept to thank you as well.
Okay, all right,
And Teresa, call me sometime this week. I have a couple questions for you.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
Ellie is next.
I enjoyed your talk. And I agree. You were mentioning, you opened up saying, we've lost deep communication with the soul, and that can go back to, we've lost that connection with nature because they're so intermeshed, intertwined together. I mean, we were made from dirt. So we were made from the creation. itself. So when we lose touch with that, we lose connection with part of ourselves. And so that connection you were talking about, the shamanic connection, as you said, it when I hear you describe that, and then knowing the pagan connection, how they're so similar, you know, it amazes me how there's so many walks of life, but yet the ones that get talked about the most seems to be the ones connected to nature, pagan, shamanic, Jewish, Christian, depending on where the person's mindset is, that's what gets talked about the most. And you were talking about getting connected, to that. And there's many ways, there's the meditation, there's ritual, to help us with that communication and that relationship. And those are two ways actually that I find that connection to the divine, to the goddess, is the meditation and the ritual. I've never looked at it like scientifically, as Lori Kay tried to explain it a few talks ago, where she didn't understand it until she understood the how behind it. I just looked at it, oh, a nice quiet way of listening to what the goddess was trying to tell me. And the ritual behind it, to me, it's like making a cup of tea. You go and get your tea, your cup, your water, whether you're doing it over the stove or using a kettle or a Keurig. And all of that preparation, all of that ritual puts you in that mindset of, oh, okay, I'm going to sit down and rest for a moment. So there's many ways, to do that, to get into that connection. And you were explaining, I don't remember who you were explaining it from, but, getting in that just right mindset, that balanced mind, embracing imperfections, the practical presence, intuition, logic, emotions, getting, the psych, having everything balanced. And part of that balance is also the masculine and the feminine, not only one or the other, but both. And, a lot of people only see one or the other. And that's also why we're so off kilter, off balance, because there's not the balance of the masculine and feminine. And as Lori Kay did an amazing job of showing in scripture where, it's there. Bill Donahue, I believe, I still haven't listened to him, by the way, but in the Hebrew thought, they bring that out quite a bit, how the balance has always been there. And then I've seen that in before, of course, the patriarchal system was put into place with with the Celts, with the goddess, the feminine has always been there. It's men who made that decision to bring the imbalance of only the masculine in. So balance is very important. I mean, we can see that in nature, of how nature was created. So yes, a very great talk. And you were saying, when we're able to release those tightly held beliefs, we'll see the joy, the miracles. Well, then I added that part. We'll see the joy and the miracles and the magic of life. The increased awareness, is being able to see the chaotic, but being able to let it go. And again, having that balance of, okay, yes, we know there's going to be chaos, but then we also need that shalom, or that peace, the yin, the yang, again, seeing that awareness of. So thank you very much, Brian, of bringing that talk today. Very timely, especially for this time of year.
Thank you. Anybody else with yes, Charlotte.
I'd like to say to Ellie, I enjoyed her speech as well. But let's not forget, we do have God's holy word, the Bible, that we have to depend on as well. In Jesus' name, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anybody else with a comment? Now, there's something I want to add on from what we said here. Um, I don't want you to think that by any means I'm preaching from the pulpit. I realized, I guess the week before Bob died, that I had not been in regular enough contact with my shamanic animals. I give them greetings each morning, but there are two in particular that I've used when people were in major life-changing situations. And so that week, I started having them actually come and visit me. And one of them, my wolf, I sent to be with Bob, or was it the bear? No, it was the bear. And the Sunday that Bob died, I realized late afternoon the bear had come back, so I knew that Bob either had died or was on his way out. So I'm not preaching from a point of perfection, folks. And I guess this is part of a secondary message. Don't expect yourself to be perfect in connecting with the shamanic side, the divine side of life. But don't hesitate to try, because there's no harm in falling short in that. But if you're not trying, as I'd forgotten to be connecting, you're missing stuff that you could otherwise. Lori Kay.
Perfection never had anything to do with anything, right? Perfection never had a thing to do with anything. That is man-made.
Amen to that.
And religion is completely man-made. And I think, we talk, I seem to have heard the phrase sometimes, Jesus being the living flame. And there are 5 levels of consciousness in Greece, in the Greek tradition, I guess. And fire is the 4th one and is the Jesus level. And I just think it's so much more fun to imagine that we are being the living flame, the living energy, the living exploration, like little kids, of our lives. And instead of continuing to let ourselves think of this patriarchal idea that we're right or wrong, good or bad. It's so subtle. It comes and it comes in different ways in our minds, but I think what you were talking about tonight is really the magic potion. Have fun, have joy. So thank you.
Thank you. We are hosting a potluck Thanksgiving, noon to 3. I'd love to have you join us if you are of a mind. And the rest of you, may it be a blessed Thanksgiving. May you find connections that lift up those around you. May you find joy in the company you keep, whether it's animal or human. May you enjoy good food, and may you find yourself remembering all the blessings that you have to give thanks for from this last year. We'll see you next Thursday, next Sunday. And in the meantime,
Some of you next Thursday.
oh yeah, and some of you next Thursday. In the meantime, walk with the divine, live with the divine, find your way to even more joy and happiness. And as always, if you need conversation support, you know how to get hold of us. Blessings to you all now. Bye-bye.